Hey YouTube, it's Aiden/BurgerBob, whatever you want to call me. This is NAMM Show video number 3 about Shires/Eastman, which are kind of the same thing now, but not really. Maybe it's Eastman Shires, maybe it's the other way around. Again, on every video I'm going to say this, disclaimer, I work for 2 drum corps, Pacific Crest, sponsored by Jupiter, and Cadet, sponsored by Yamaha, and my views do not reflect these organizations. I also play Bach equipment for the most part, and I just wanted to let you guys know that, and I'm trying to be impartial here. So, next thing after Conselmer, I made my way over to the Shires booth, which was pretty big this year. The first thing I picked up was the Shires, quote-unquote, jazz bass. This is a cool instrument that I haven't seen them put together at a show before. Shires being modular, of course, they don't have specific models except for a few artist models. It's kind of like whatever they want to put together to bring to the show. This one had a cool 9.5-inch gold bell. Let's see, what else did I didn't write anything else down. A nickel slide. I think it had the 2 lead pipe and rotors. And this horn was awesome. It played so well. It sounded super barky. Good low C. Man, just a really good bass trombone. I loved this instrument. If I needed a jazz bass trombone and I had $6,500 right now, I would really consider this instrument. It was awesome. That made me really happy because I guess last year the Shires and at ITF, the Shires were pretty good, but I have played some really not stellar Shires bass trombones in the past, and this one was stellar, so good job. Next one, I picked up a Trubor bass with another gold bell, I think, and this one had a B2SS lead pipe, which is a sterling silver lead pipe, which it's the medium lead size, same as the last bass. This horn was not good. I think it had the dual bore slide, and it was stuffy. Everything about it was slow, the slide and the valves. Just what I have written down is blah. That's it, blah. It just was not really good at all. This is the kind of horn you would play for a while and just be like, why am I so bad at bass trombone? It was that kind of instrument. It kind of reminded me of my old Shires, actually, which gave me the same kind of feeling after a while. This one was a little larger in the slide, so a little bit easier to blow, but man, just not a good bass. Thankfully, that is the last bad horn that was at the Shires booth that I played anyway. Next one was the new Blair Bollinger travel bass. Blair is the bass trombonist in the Philadelphia Orchestra. I hope I got that right. He usually plays the Shires Bollinger model, which is in F/flat G with the yellow bell and dual bore slide and axials and stuff. Kind of a big instrument, and he used to play with no lead pipe, but I think he usually uses a lead pipe now. I really like that instrument. It plays really well. Most Shires orchestral basses kind of have the same feel, but his is even more so, I guess. And I think he has his own tuning slide that's part of it. Anyway, he came out with this new travel horn that has true bores. I'm not really sure why it has true bores instead of axials. And F/flat G tuning again, and a screw bell. That's the big difference. Is his normal horn does not have a screw bell. This horn was awesome. Man, it was so good. I mean, it felt like 98% of what his normal horn is, with a completely different setup. I mean, it has true bores and like a different wrap and all this different stuff and a screw bell, and it felt just like his normal horn and just very flexible, big sound, easy blow. I was very impressed with this. The wrap on the Bollinger is different because it has F/flat G tuning, and it seemed to have more braces than the normal instrument. I'm not sure if that's because of him or just the tuning, but this horn was very heavy. I did notice it was very heavy. I don't know. I like this horn a lot. I was surprised. I usually, after playing true bores for like 2 years, I kind of wanted to never play them again, but this horn had pretty good ones. That was a nice surprise. Next up was just like a stock Shires bass trombone. It had axials, a dual bore slide, and a yellow bell. And that was, it's just like what you get when you get a Shires. And this was exactly what you want out of a Shires trombone. It's very similar to Blair's artist model. Very similar to Brian Heck's artist model, which are pretty similar in a lot of ways. And I liked this horn a lot. It was actually lighter than Blair's travel horn, interestingly enough, with no screw bell and I guess less bracing. I'm not sure why it was so much lighter, but it was a lot lighter than Blair's travel horn. And it was just really good. Good axials, good slide. If I needed a bass trombone and I didn't have one for an orchestra, that's probably my first choice, is just a pretty stock Shires. I move on to the Shires Tenors because there were some more Shires basses. I think there were some Q series that I missed. For some reason, I didn't go around the side of this little display and I didn't play the Q series. I did play them last year and I thought they were really good, so that's my comment. I played an axial tenor trombone, which means, has a Thayer valve with the X tuning slide. The X tuning slide is the Bach, quote-unquote, tuning slide, which is a little bit different blow. It changes the tuning of the upper partials a little bit, high D, for instance, and D above the staff. Man, this was a really, really good tenor trombone. I liked it a lot. I thought it was the best Shires tenor at the thing, and one of the best tenors of the show, I think. Really good instrument. I played it for like a good 5-7 minutes, just kind of like putting it through the paces, and I was just really pleased with it. Good instrument. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Next, I move on to the Ralph Sauer horn, which is a 525, 547 dual bore with a dual bore rotor valve. That's what it's called, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, the dual bore rotor, which is different than their normal rotor, and a screw bell, which is gold or red. I think it's red. Anyway, usually this horn is really awesome, and I've played 3 now, I think, that I thought were just the bee's knees. This one was not very good. Really slow, gummy slide. Just not very special in any way. Not very super easy to play like they usually are. So I'm going to chalk that up to that one just not having a clean slide and stuff. Just kind of disappointed. Right next to that, of course, is Eastman. Eastman being the Chinese company that owns Shires now, having bought them out in 2014, I think. They also make trombones and stuff at a lower price point in China. They have their own bass trombone and tenor trombones that are all kind of, they've worked with Shires to design these. I played their bass. If you put Eastman and Shires on a graph, on like a spectrum, you would put the Eastman bass trombone at the bottom, the Q series one step above that, and then the custom Shires series one step above that. So the Eastman is technically the bottom of the pole as bass trombones for the Eastman company goes, but man, it is so good. What a good instrument. Man, I was just kind of blown away by how easy it was to play, the big sound it got, the good valves, good construction, felt really, really solid. I don't know. I was really blown away by this. It felt like the Q series bass trombones, except I think you can't take it apart. And that's basically the only difference that I could really tell. I think this is probably one of the better deals out there for a bass trombone. If you can't afford a Q series, I think the Eastman would probably be the next best bet. And just totally blown away. And then they had a tenor trombone with an axial. I was not blown away, and I thought it was very average. And that seemed to be the kind of ongoing thing at the show, is like basses that were just weirdly good, and then tenor trombones that I just was not super impressed by. And again, I'm not sure if that's because I'm bad at tenor trombone, which is entirely possible, but maybe tenor trombones are harder to make. I'm really not sure. That doesn't make any sense since bass trombones have more parts and more things to get wrong. I'm not sure, but the tenor was just not blowing me away. Overall, I thought the Shire stuff was really good. They are making some good instruments. They all seem really well built. Even the bad ones, the true bore bass with the gold bell and stuff that I didn't like, it seemed well put together, just didn't play very well. And that can maybe be chalked up to a bad slide. I'm not really sure. But overall, really good instruments. Some that I thought were some of the best in the show. Good on Shires. On to our next brand, Buffet Crampon, in our next video.